Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian, joined me my co-host, Joseph.
Yellow.
Ian.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And Jehu. On a very realistic note, Ian and I didn't do any background work for this episode, so today Joseph's doing the news.
Woohoo!
Plus Joseph.
We also didn't decide how to pare down this information, so I'm just going based on what I feel like is important.
God, this is going to be the worst episode.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is we just did a news. I mean, it's been a few weeks since we did a news episode, but literally, like, all the shit that I have written down is stuff from our text thread from this past week. So
hot off the presses.
No kidding. I feel like we're really we've talked about the machinery slowly working up to full speed again. You know, I don't feel like the world is all the way back, but I feel like Hollywood is all the way back.
Yeah. Shang-Chi making a buttload of money, and then directors just constantly bitching about day and date releases has just pushed Hollywood into not giving a fuck anymore.
Right. We're all over the place as far as what kind of news we got. Not too much Marvel news, but we couldn't fully avoid it because it's just 30% of the world now.
We know what our people want.
That's also true.
There's just so much of it. It's not even like we're just searching for it. Marvel is consistently putting shit out all the time.
Yep. And it's true. Honestly, the most excited I am to talk about anything is that Marvel trailer, because that shit is fucking dope.
Okay. Well, we'll hold on to that. We'll save that for the tease for later.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing, there's news coming out of, I guess, Lucasfilm. Disney, who owns Indiana Jones?
Disney.
I mean, Disney does now, but they own Lucasfilm part of it.
Yeah. That Phoebe Waller-Bridge might be replacing Harrison Ford as the lead in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, we know she's in Indy 5, but the rumor is that Lucasfilm sees her as could be the new star of the franchise, which, listen, it's not that I'm anti a woman taking over that role. I'd not be super excited about that news. But since the fact that it's Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I'm stupid excited for that.
Agreed. I think the danger here is, and this is the thing that Hollywood's been trying to do for, at least 2 decades now, is we got this whole generation of older actors and we keep trying to replace them with these personality-less, handsome guys.
Alden Ehrenreich.
100%. I mean, he's not even the worst of the bunch. I'm thinking you're Jai Courtney's of the world, but I don't know. Like, I love the idea of, I don't know how she's doing this kind of role, because I don't think she's done something that's quite like this, but she just oozes a lot of personality. And I feel like that's so much of the Harrison Ford charm in general.
Look, I want it to work. I would be fine with it, but this totally screams just like internet troll vibes, Ghostbuster reboot. Like, I do not think this will work. I'm telling you right now.
The response will not be good if that is the way they decide to go.
100%. This screams like you're going to get every internet person from their mom's basement saying you're ruining my fucking childhood. And I don't know. I don't think it'll happen. If I had to guess, I don't think it'll happen. I'm pessimistic, I guess. Maybe I could be wrong, but this screams like trying to reboot the Ghostbusters with the women, and we're going to get that kind of reaction if they ever do try and really do a female indie movie.
I will say this to that, like a semi-counter to that, only it's not really a counter. The out here is that if Indy 5 is bad, they'll never do it. And Indy 5 has Harrison Ford in it. So it won't fall on her if it's poor. Like, if Indy 5 is bad, then at least two of 5 are not good. We're just going to be done, I think. And then you never get to the Lady Ghostbusters movie. You know what I mean? Like, you have an out if this movie sucks.
I'd agree with that. I don't know. What happened to Chris Pratt? I like the Chris Pratt as Indiana Jones thing. I don't know what happened to that.
I think, man, that's almost like become too obvious at this point. I really like the Phoebe Waller-Bridge just because, like you guys said, she just has a lot of personality, and I've not seen her in anything that I didn't like her in, and it's so far from Chris Pratt. Besides just being a different gender, that's a curveball. I'll see if that works. If it turns into, it's like, well, we've not really got her, so it's just going to be a girl. And like 2 years from now, it's like fucking Jessica Biel or something. It's like, nope, no, I'm not there for that. But I am there for this if this happens. But I agree. It's all going to depend on how Indy 5 goes, and if Harrison doesn't drop dead film.
Yeah. The only two things I would add to this is she's the best part of Solo, which is odd because of its connection to another Harrison Ford character. And two, she did drop out of the Mr. and Miss Smith reboot, which kind of gives some credence. Like that was just before this news came out to me. So it says like there might be some, I can't commit to a multi-season show. I'm going to be the new Indiana Jones.
Right. So do we know what her character is at this point?
I don't think so. I'm saying Indy's granddaughter, but I have no clue to go off of.
Right.
This is entirely unrelated, but one of these days, I feel like we should do an episode on good action comedies that do both the action and the comedy well, because I think we could probably count them on both of our hands. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Mr. and Mrs. Smith is a good one. I like Mr. and Mrs. Smith a lot.
That movie is way better than it has any right
to be. Absolutely. 100%. In a similar vein, we got the official runtime for the new James Bond movie that's not really new. It's supposed to come out a year and a half ago, but whatever. It's coming out like in a month or two. It's going to be clocking in at a month. Yeah, there we go. Clocking in at 2 hours and 43 minutes, which is, I believe, longer than Transformers.
It is longer than Transformers.
I think it's also the longest James Bond movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way too damn long.
Yeah, it is. It is too long of a movie. Like movies need to be closer to 2 hours, not closer to 3. So I don't know. It's definitely strike one against the movie. I mean, I want to say optimistic, but it's definitely a bad sign.
Especially just for like a Bond movie. And this is nothing against movies that are like formulaic in nature, because that's like the appeal of the Bond movie. But it is just like a plug and play formula for the most part. Why should it be longer? What are you doing?
What I honestly think it is up until hearing that runtime, I figured Christoph Waltz was probably just a cameo. Like he didn't really play a part in the part. But my imagine is this is going to be like a twofold thing. You think that Freddie Mercury is the main threat, but Christoph Waltz will be the main threat.
And in this movie, we ruin his other eye.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm still excited about this. I've loved all the Craig Bonds, and I will probably like this one. But I agree. I'm pretty sick of movies that clock in over 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
My thought is, I think that this could be also trying to set up Monica Rambeau as the new James Bond, similar to like our first story. A female Indiana Jones. I think they might try and do like a little bit more with. I think her name's Latasha Lynch, and they pushing her as the new like MI6 operative is what I heard. So maybe she's in it a little more than I would have thought.
Let's all take a second to think about how many great roles Naomi Harris has been in and never really like popped off. Because she's great as Moneypenny in the Craig Bonds, and they tried to make her like the main thing in like, I don't know if it was the last one or the one before the last one. And then I guess that's just not a thing anymore. And so she's just back to not quite obscurity, but just kind of like, oh yeah, it's that girl.
That's just credence to how fucking good Skyfall is, man. That part in Skyfall kicks, and at the end for her to become Moneypenny, like that movie just works so well.
Yeah,
Skyfall might be the best one.
Skyfall's definitely the best one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, Spectre just felt really long. It felt like it overstayed its welcome. So I don't know why you're doing another really long movie. It just, I would have went the other way. I would have zigged.
Yeah, no doubt. But on a note of, I don't know, there are a lot of people doing long movies these days, but there is rumors of a new Christopher Nolan film. I know our podcast is not overly positive on his last work, but overall he's got a pretty solid body of work. He's supposedly working on an Oppenheimer movie with starring Cillian Murphy as Robert Oppenheimer. I don't know.
They just announced today this is going to Universal, I think. It will not be at Warner Brothers.
Oh, damn.
He gave Warner Brothers the middle finger after that HBO Max kind of shit. He's like, screw you guys, I'm done.
He's like, Universal will let me turn down the vocals as low as I want.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Like you said, I'm off Chris Nolan until he makes a movie I can understand in a theater. Because it's been a long time. Like, I know, Jones, you like Dunkirk. I couldn't understand Dunkirk either. So I don't think he's made a movie I liked since Inception, which is got to be more than 10 years at this point. So like, yeah, I'm off Chris Nolan right now. So I'm not excited about this.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, this is very off brand for him. I know we just did like a World War II movie, but like scale wise, this doesn't seem like his vibe. I don't really know how, like, Dunkirk was already kind of an unusual thing for him, but it's still got a pretty big, like, cinematic feel. There's a very, like, grand scale to it. I don't know. I mean, I understand you're going to, do like the atom bomb, but like, how does this fit into the Christopher Nolan formula,
Right. I have no evidence of this, but I'm already betting it's in black and white.
Yeah.
Or it's so dark it might as well be.
Right.
Supposedly part of his deal with Universal was that he asked for a contractual obligation between a 90 to 120 day release window in theaters.
Wow.
Which seems abnormally long anyway. And then to like guarantee it. What if no one shows up? Like, what if people are just done with Chris Nolan after he's acted like a bitch over the last year?
Yeah. Are they going to also guarantee him that they're releasing it in 1996 when that would work?
Yeah.
This feels very Eddie Redmayne to me in that he's trying to get a fucking Best Picture winner. And he's just like, what can I do to guarantee myself an Oscar?
I mean, at the same time, does this not seem like a movie that your dad's going to go see?
Yeah.
I feel like we got enough of the 4 quadrants that it'll probably do okay.
I have children. A World War II movie? Sign me up. I'm there, bro.
There's so much of this that's superhero news that I didn't realize until I started looking at it. So before we break into the superhero stuff and the trailers, the last one I wanted to mention is I guess this is a trailer. Netflix is producing a musical about Princess Diana.
Yes. So it's a stage production that I guess already exists. I have not seen it nor heard of it.
I've never heard of this before.
Neither have I. But it's in the Netflix is in the vein of Hamilton type of thing. Like, it is the stage show, just a recording of it.
This is them mashing Hamilton and The Crown together.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This sounds right up Susie's alley.
100%. That's 100% why I brought it up, because I was like,
watch Paw Patrol with his children.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely will watch this.
Probably many times.
Yeah.
Well, let's do a thing that we don't do that often: video game news. Just because it's 2 fairly big announcements. One, I know that Christian and general people of a certain generation really enjoyed. They're bringing back the Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, so they're redoing. It's an updated version of the first game, which is really exciting. That game is so freaking awesome. It is one of the best, like, just story arcs in Star Wars. With some upsetting news, though, is, this game is not that old, but like they're replacing almost all of the voice cast, which feels unnecessary in my opinion. But I'm still going to play the shit out of this.
Yeah, the voice cast does not need to be messed with this at all. That is upsetting news. Like, obviously the graphics need an upgrade. They need more than 5 faces in the game, but the voice cast was tight. I don't know why they're doing that.
Yeah, that's a bad decision. But overall, this is a game people have wanted to play. The big 2 questions I have is, I guess 3 questions really. Does this make Knights of the Old Republic canon again? Does that mean we're going to get Revan somewhere else? Or Malik somewhere else? Number 2, are we going to do number 2? Because its story is pretty well connected to the first one. And are we gonna keep making more of these games? Because I think that's what a lot of people have been upset with KOTOR is you did these 2 games and then you ended up doing like an Old Republic computer-based MMORPG type of thing. But there was it seems like there's a lot more story to tell in this period of time. So I hope we keep going back to this well.
Why wasn't this in canon? I don't under. It's so far back. I don't understand why it wasn't in canon anyway.
I think it's actually video game rights because this was the last game or one of the last few games that Lucas Games made before EA got the rights. And I don't even know. I think Activision is making Star Wars games now. I don't even know. But I think it's a rights issue.
Right.
But it seems to be in canon now.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be kind of an implicit approval into the canon.
I mean, it definitely didn't make a lot of sense to me. I thought maybe it was like, well, what was this last Old Republic thing we just did that they did the books for and stuff?
High Republic.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it was like, well, nobody gave a shit about that, so maybe they'll give a shit about this. I feel like maybe that's where this is coming from, and I'm fine with it because this shit's awesome.
Yeah, High Republic sucked.
I've never played this, so this is like missing in like my catalog. I never played it when it was old, so I'm ready to go in on this because everyone tells me it's one of the best games.
if people do want to play it, like I've recently been playing through this game, actually, the first one, it's only like $5 on the Xbox store. Like it's real cheap to get a hold of. And look, the mechanics are not great, but I think the story's worth it.
Yeah.
RPGs scare me off sometimes because they're like 100 hours and I just can't give myself that much. I mean, is that how it is? Is it like a 50 hour? Like what's the investment in this?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, Ian. It's not near that long though. I mean, you got to think about the generation of RPGs this came from though. Like we weren't into like the Final Fantasy 13s yet. So I would say it's probably 20 to 30 hours, but I might be misquoting there.
That's doable. Cool.
Yeah. And for you, Ian, I know there was some exciting news that there was a collaboration between PlayStation and Insomniac Games, who made the Spider-Man games, for some more Marvel content coming down the line.
Yeah, so the PlayStation had a big direct, like where they announced a bunch of new games last week, and the two things like Spider-Man Miles Morales and the Spider-Man, just the Peter Parker game from Insomniac that was on the PlayStation 4. They announced Spider-Man 2 with like a cinematic trailer where it's both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, both Spider-Mans, and they come across Venom. So I don't know. I know Joseph has played it. That Spider-Man game on PS4 is like the best Spider-Man game. Like it's probably the best superhero game I've ever played. It's just super fun. Like the Sinister Six battles are like very like original, and the game feels very cinematic. I haven't gotten into the Miles Morales yet because I'm trying to find a PS5 to play it on. But from all accounts, that's a fucking great game too. So I'm super excited because I think this is like the best studio right now. They just came out of the Ratchet and Clank game that's getting good reviews. So yeah, I think that'll be super cool. And then they announced a Wolverine standalone game. So they're going to come out with Spider-Man 2, and then they're also going to do a Wolverine game, which I think you could definitely, like, if you tap into all the X-Men lore, like, there's a lot of good villains. There's a lot you could do with that depending on how they take it. There
are actually a lot of good superhero games, I think, that have been forgotten over the years. But I know there's a good tie-in game for, I think it was X-Men Origins with Wolverine that was on like PS2 and original Xbox. It was like a fun mechanics, and it was a cool, like, you know, the nice thing about Wolverine is he's a brawler. You get to like be on the ground and just slash through a bunch of people. I think if you can update that with the kind of fight mechanics they got in the Spider-Man games, it'd be really fun.
Yeah,
it's weird that they don't. That type game is just dead. The like game that launches with the superhero movie is just gone. That's those used to be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because they would have to tell the game company like how the movie ends, and that shit would be leaked on the internet in like 5 seconds.
That's true.
But yeah, so that's cool. And there's also a Guardians of the Galaxy game coming out by the people who did the Marvel's Avengers game, which sucks. Like I beat it. I played.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah, it's not a good game, but I'll probably go in on that because I really like. I think that's the next medium where superheroes can really grow. Is like make some good open world superhero games. You know, depending on like give a Black Panther game. You know, make a Superman game. But it seems like that's what's coming. Like on a separate note, like there's a Suicide Squad game coming that looks awesome, and a Gotham Knights game, which is like 4-player brawler. So I think they're going to tap into more of this. But the Guardians of the Galaxy game, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it, but I'll definitely give it a shot, and I'll let you guys know, you know, when I check in with it. I think that actually comes out next month. That one's the first one.
Well, the moral of the story is NetherRealm should make Injustice 3.
Well, that's actually a good transition to the first of the trailers and things that I wanted to talk about.
That's why I did it.
I appreciate it.
Professional transition.
Well done. The very popular Injustice fighting games are being adapted into one of the DC animated movies. I think the most famous aspect of this story is at the very beginning of it, Superman kills the Joker and goes crazy, which, you know, we've gotten a lot of crazy Superman stories, but I know this one's got a pretty established popular lore. So what do you guys think about this?
I really like this game, but I think they're both pretty fun adaptations. And they actually have spawned some pretty fun comics.
That's true.
So I think this is a fun property to do this with. It's not, I just want to say in Superman's defense, I mean, he's definitely the bad guy, but in Superman's defense, not only Joker has killed Lois Lane and then released a nuclear bomb on Metropolis. So like everyone Superman knows is dead when he decides to go bad. But I don't know. It's a lot of fun. There's a freaking great Nightwing moment. I hope they do, where I don't want to spoil it. It's fucking great. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I dug the trailer. I like this property. I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I agree. I really hope they lean into some of those comics, because the comics were one of those things. They were just like a throwaway digital first, adaptation of a video game, and there was no reason for them to be good, and they were fucking awesome. So this could be really good.
I mean, I haven't read the comics at this point. I just know that I feel like so much of all of the DC animated content over the last 6 years has been like, hey, all the superheroes and characters that you like? What if they all just got killed? And I don't know, I understand, I think you can have those stories every once in a while, but I also want just regular stories where everybody's having fun.
Right. No, totally. I would pay double the price to read a story about Batman stopping some bank robbers.
Yeah.
That just never happens anymore. Batman doesn't just give a shit about banks being robbed anymore.
Well, that brings us into the first of our big trailers. Which one do we want to do?
Let's do Matrix last, I feel like.
Okay,
I feel like
that's
it's
fine.
the big
I'd agree with that.
All right. Well, I know Ian was excited to talk about the Hawkeye trailer. I think we're all pretty excited to talk about the Hawkeye trailer. Marvel TV show. Jeremy Renner's returning. Haley Steinfeld is starring as Kate Bishop. What do we think about the trailer, guys?
I fucking love this trailer. I did not anticipate to love it as much as I did, but everything about it screamed like this is gonna be a blast, and I'm really looking forward to it. I
just want to know, before just assault your own opinions here for just 1 second. How much of your enjoyment of it was the fact that there was just a jaunty Christmas tune in the background for the whole trailer?
Oh, 70%.
Yeah,
sure.
A high percentage. But you know what? It's there. And that there's something cheating about liking it because of that.
This is one I was super hesitant about. There was rumors it was going to take from the Matt Fraction David Aja comic run, which is a top 5 comic run for me. And, I didn't know how they were going to do that. This Hawkeye is a way different character than that, as far as his, attitude and just his entanglements with people. So, but this looks like it's going to do their best to adapt that in this world. And it looks really fun. I wasn't sure about Haley Steinfeld. I watched her on Good Morning America or something a few months back or something. It was I'd liked her before that. I fucking love True Grit. But man, you just don't need to find out anything about anybody you like, because she came off like the dumbest human being who ever lived. And I'm I don't know if I'm down with this anymore. But the trailers got me back on board. I'm fucking down with this.
Yeah, one to Jehu's point, the one thing I'm sad about we're gonna miss on this show is all the random superhero women Clint has hooked up with just randomly showing up to his apartment.
That's true, definitely.
Yeah, I thought it was super cool. I think it'll just kill. I think it's gonna be so popular. It comes out Thanksgiving Day, I think, or something. So it kind of had like you guys said, it definitely had a Die Hard feeling to me. I like the aspect of him trying to get back home to his family and during Christmas time. And I thought Haley Steinfeld she seemed really likable as Kate Bishop. It seemed like what I wanted out of that character. I like the use of the Ronin armor as kind of a way to bring that full circle. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't think I was going to like it, to be honest with you. I think this was the show I was least excited about. But yeah, I'm completely in. So I'm excited. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
I cheered when I saw Pizza Dog, and I cheered when I saw the fucking Eastern European bro gangsters. This is...
I really like just the general twist of a very common holiday movie trope of, oh no, I'm away from home for Christmas and I need to make it home in time. With a Marvel movie, that just by itself is a great combination. Looks like it's kind of a return to the roots of why we liked Marvel movies in the first place. It's some action and some fun quippy dialogue, and I'm hoping it doesn't get too dark. That said, there's a little part of me, and I'm curious how you guys feel about this. I don't think they'd go this dark, but there's a little part of me when Clint's I'm definitely going to be home for Christmas. Is that another death flag? He's escaped it 3 times. Is it possible that this is the time?
Yeah, I don't think they kill him, but
Nah.
it definitely, I think they're foreshadowing it.
I'm putting it down. I'm saying they kill him. Fuck it. There's only so many times
God.
he can skate by.
Only you would take this trailer and go in that direction.
Also, this show will have the first appearance of a Daredevil related character. It doesn't seem like the internet's going crazy about that, which I don't understand because it seems
Echo,
to be
right?
porting. Yeah, Echo. Yeah. Which her history in the comics is because of basically just a writing blunder. She was the first person to wear the Ronin outfit. So I'm assuming she'll have something to do with the Ronin character in this, but she is a Daredevil related character. So there's rumors now that maybe the Kingpin is in this.
Mhm.
I don't know if I believe that at all, but that's still pretty exciting. Also, what does Linda Cardellini have going on better?
Yeah, I know she's not in it, right? Not in
Like,
the
is there a
trailer,
Freaks and Geeks reunion I don't know about or something? Like,
And finally, I'd say probably the biggest trailer, the one that we've been waiting for a long time as a nerd culture and probably just as pop culture in general. The Matrix Resurrections first look. What do we think, guys?
God, I know. I think we're split on this, but I fucking loved it. I loved it so much. I'm so happy to be back with these characters.
I was really not super excited about this beforehand, and like, even if I think I've said on this on this podcast that I was, but I was lying. I just, I was excited that John Groff had a cool job. Like, he seems like a cool guy, and I was glad he had a cool job. Honestly, I didn't give a shit about this movie, but this trailer totally turned me around. I am like super on board with this shit now. I really thought going into this that this would just be the Force Awakens for the Matrix. And, that's not a dig on the Force Awakens. I love that shit. It's probably the most fun I had in a theater in the previous decade. But I thought this was just going to be that. I thought it would be the old characters would be brought back to set up the universe for new characters to sell it to the new kids. And to see that they're not doing that, like or at least it doesn't seem like they're doing that, is pretty exciting to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I liked it. I didn't know that I didn't know that this was something I wanted necessarily, but getting into that trailer and seeing like Dr. Manhattan look like a splitting image, of a young Morpheus, and seeing Keanu with like John Wick kind of Keanu. I don't know. I like the callbacks. The trailer is really good. I am still very hesitant that this will be a good movie. Like I said, there's only been one good Matrix movie. The other ones have been pretty bad. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I will say this has me jazzed, and like this is probably the movie I'm most looking forward to probably for the rest of the year. Which before this trailer I probably wouldn't have said that.
I have a theory as to why this will be a good sequel when the other two really weren't. I don't think there was a need for the other two. Like, when the first one hit, home computers and internet access and even cell phones had really only been a thing for about like 5 years. And it was the first movie that really hit and had a statement on that. Hollywood had definitely tried before that, but they were always either like too far ahead or like it was already outdated. Like it was like most of the early movies about the internet always have a suspenseful scene about a fucking file download. Like it was not a good predictor of what the internet was going to be. But The Matrix really had something to say on it. It had something to say about, how the technology connects you and how it also divides you, how you control it and it controls you. And the other two didn't have a reason to exist. Like, I know they tried to pivot to say, oh, well, these movies, they're not actually about technology. They're about religion. And that shit was fucking boring. But, I feel like this does have a reason to exist. 20 years on, there is something new to say about technology and online life and how it affects us. Like this really seems to be like it's going to be a movie about depression and maybe about middle age. And maybe that's why it's these characters continuing on instead of a new sort of hero's journey sort of story. And I'm fucking excited about that.
Jay, you brought up the Force Awakens point, and I think that's really interesting because I think this is taking the exact opposite route that Force Awakens is like kind of to the point you're taking. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the interview. I don't remember which Wachowski sister is the one making this. I know one is and one isn't, but
Lana.
Yeah. Okay. Lana said that she was grieving over the death of her parents and, had the sudden realization of I can't bring them back, but I can bring Trinity and Neo back, which is like the closest she can get to that. And then she just started writing this movie. And to me, that's a way better basis to make a film than we need to continue this franchise. Right. It needs to strike every nostalgia itch that these people have. I don't think this movie would get made if they didn't have a story to tell. And to the point about talking about technology, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there's a scene in The Matrix in that trailer where someone is watching The Matrix.
I didn't see that.
Right on.
So it's going to be real fucking meta and a real big commentary, I think, on the world we live on.
Well, I mean, one of the things I really hope it speaks to is like sort of generational, how we view internet and technology. Like, I would really hope there's people in it that are completely aware of the Matrix, completely aware of its evils, but just don't want to leave. They're like, well, I've grown up with this. It's part of my life. I don't want to leave it.
Man,
the steak is really good.
When you talk about it, it looks like it's trying to say something about modern day life. There's just that one shot in the trailer where it's a bunch of people shoved into a box looking at their phones, and I'm like, "Fuck you!" That's what I'm afraid this movie is.
Like, I'm not saying that it's going to be subtle, but the Matrix wasn't subtle.
Yeah.
I also think maybe this is going to be a test in new views on demographics. Like maybe, the number one thing isn't selling it to the kids anymore. Maybe somebody was like, hey, people in their 30s and 40s, they still buy shit. They don't expect everything for free. So I don't know. It could be a test run for where things are going.
I don't feel like, in general, I don't feel like I'm as optimistic on this trailer as you guys are. I'm excited to come back to the world. I think I like the Matrix and the Matrix mythology as a whole. In general, one of the first things that struck me about this trailer is like it looks so different in the sense that I feel like the Matrix movies have such a distinct style. Just like, part of it is that weird color tint where they make everything green, which is not happening in this.
Right.
But, I don't know, like they're watching a bunch of clips of this. I feel like you can intersperse shots of this movie and that Bike Messenger movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And that's a problem for me.
What a weird movie to pick. Who remembers that?
That's what it made me think of.
The other thing is, like, I don't think this is I'd feel more confident if this was like a one-off movie, if they really had an idea. But this, to me, feels like they're like trying to set up another cinematic universe. And I just don't know if the Matrix, like, not everything needs to be a cinematic universe. Like, just make a good movie.
I totally disagree. I don't know if it's I think the Matrix is the only property that Warner Brothers can do it successfully with. Like, I think it's as a concept, a universe could work in it. I think this will be the end of Neo and Trinity's story. I do think that we're not going to see those characters again, but I do think we're going to see new people. Whether it's Dr. Manhattan, just doing young Morpheus shit.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I want that. Maybe. Like, also, we think this will be good, but have you guys watched Cloud Atlas? Have you watched some of the movies that fucking people have made? Like, they are not as good as we think they are.
I love Speed Racer. That movie is fucking better than The Matrix.
I also love Speed Racer. Maybe that's the divide in these opinions. Me and you love Speed Racer. The other half does not.
It could be it.
But yeah, there is an aspect of, those guys have not made another movie that like definitely The Matrix did. Like, I love Speed Racer, but I know I'm in the minority.
Yeah.
Nobody loves Cloud Atlas. Nobody loves that movie where Channing Tatum was a dog.
I forgot that was them. Jupiter Ascending? No way.
Jupiter Ascending, yeah.
Oh, okay. That just proved my point right there. That should have been Exhibit A.
All right, I'm officially calling that we need to do a Wachowskis episode before The Matrix comes out because they have such a small catalog.
God. That's the best Eddie Redmayne role, though, so I will say that.
Yeah, save that shit for later.
I just want it made known that V for Vendetta does not count.
No, it does not. They just
produced that, did not direct it. Everyone thinks it's them, but it's not.
I actually didn't know that till you just told me. So right on.
All right.
Yeah, I would have guessed they directed that, and I would have like put money behind it. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I know you guys just talked about it. I'm still worried it's just going to be The Force Awakens for The Matrix, but fuck it. I'm in the demographic. I'm going to see it.
Well, I mean, even if it is that, I mean, The Force Awakens, it's not like any of you guys didn't have fun in The Force Awakens.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
But
It's Force Awakens, but
it's
sad.
going to be Force Awakens, and they're just going to introduce new characters for another movie. I think that's what this is going to be, and like put a bow on Trinity and Neo. And like, I just don't think I don't think they have an original idea. I could be wrong. I don't see it like Hurt does it. I think this is more, it's just going to be a money grab. That's my fear. But the trailer is fucking cool, so don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I like the trailer, but I'm not optimistic.
Ian, you are riding the fence so hard here, brother.
Yeah, I love it. It's fantastic.
You're like, it's going to be total shit, and it's just going to be a reboot. But I think it looks great.
The trailer looks good, but I do not think the movie will be cool.
All right.
I'm like skeptical of the fashion choices that we've seen so far of whoever the new people are. But then I remember, one, the fact that I thought everybody was really cool in leather was because I saw it when I was like 10 years old.
Right.
And two, in the real world, they just wear fucking potato sacks. So, like, it's kind of a low bar.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one, man, it was made to appeal to teenage mall goths. Like, 100%. they realized that was an untapped market, and they were fucking right.
That's a good question, Hurt. You would remember this better than we would. Like, percentage wise, how many like geeks were wearing trench coats before the Matrix versus after the Matrix?
Oh, it increased exponentially, but definitely those trench coat geeks that were already there. Oh man, were they on board? Like, these guys knew. This is going to mean nothing to you guys, but they hired Tim Pope as their cinematographer. Tim Pope directed every Cure video, every single one. These guys were not fucking around.
I love it.
That's great.
Anyway, I think. Oh, actually, Ian, would you like to take this one?
What? What are we talking about?
I think
And
we're
that's
done.
the news.
And that's the news.
No, and that's the news.
So yeah, if we missed something, we surely did. Or if you have feelings about the Matrix trailer or any other bullshit we talked about, you know how to reach us. realphones@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, whatever. Ian just left, I guess. So. That's okay. He's not really important for what Christian's watching.
I'm going to try to go quick. I'm pretty passionate about the things I have to talk about, though. So I'm not going to hopefully not do a Hurt 30-minute rant over 4 episodes or whatever we're about to get. So I did finish all the Harry Potter films, and I think those movies are good. I think they're all better than Transformers. I think they're all at least like 6 or 7 out of 10. Like, I enjoy those films. However, there are 2 things that really grind my gears, and I have to talk about them. The first one's Ginny Weasley. That character in the film is non-existent. Like, whoever that girl is supposed to be playing is not Ginny Weasley from the books, and it really pisses me off. Ginny is a smart ass. She's brash. She's hot-headed. She's always running into trouble. That's just not who that character is in the films. There's a great scene when Harry returns to Hogwarts and he's in the room of requirement with everyone. Cho volunteers to take him to the Ravenclaw dorm room, and Ginny's like immediately cuts her off and says, "No, Luna will take him, thank you." And like, that's the kind of Ginny Weasley I wish we'd got on screen. There's all this stuff about how Ginny is the only person Harry really can relate to because of her experience in Chamber of Secrets with Voldemort. And we just don't tap into any of that in the movies. And it just, I don't know, it pisses me off. And the one thing the books get wrong too about Ginny is Harry says in Half-Blood Prince, the only time he feels normal is when he's with Ginny. We, the reader, deserve to get to spend time with Harry feeling like Harry deserves it, and we, the reader, deserve it.
Right.
But Rowling makes no point to put that in the books, and for sure the movies are not going to do that. And I don't know, it makes me sad. So
me and Sarah have been watching these movies a lot lately too, because again, they're on every weekend. So me and Sarah have been watching them a lot again too. And it's the same way. I still love them. But every time you watch them, you find a thing that's like, well, that's kind of annoying. But we've been talking about the exact same thing with Jenny, that Jenny is just nothing on screen. And that's the main thing they should have like departed from the books on. They should have just pivoted to Harry being interested in Luna or invented a new character or something, because that just was not working.
Yeah, I think there's a mistake in the books too, that after Order of the Phoenix, Luna, Ginny, and Neville are in the gang. Like, it should not be Harry, Hermione, and Ron anymore. Like,
true,
all 6 of them almost died at the hands of Voldemort in the Ministry of Magic. That's something that they're going to share forever. I don't understand why we go back to the trio after that. The other thing that really pisses me off is how they handle Lily Potter and Lily Potter's sacrifice in the books. Harry collects the Deathly Hallows, and he has the Horcrux inside of him so that when Voldemort tries to kill them, he survives. He's able to live because he's the master of death. And he can say, hey, I don't have to die. Here's this other soul in me. It can die. But what's important about that is Harry has Lily's eyes, right? Like, he's a combination of his parents. He looks like James, has Lily's eyes. Well, in the death, he recreates Lily's sacrifice for him. And he's able to protect all the people at Hogwarts. Again, we don't talk about this in the movie, but Harry returns. When he comes back, everything plays out the same. Hagrid carries him. They go up. Voldemort teases everybody. Neville tries to fight back. But Voldemort tries to curse Neville in the book, and it doesn't work. It fades. He tries over and over, and shit hits the fan, and everybody runs inside, and Harry just throws his invisibility cloak on and just watches Voldemort suck for 5 minutes. Voldemort can't hit anybody. Nothing works. And all of a sudden, he rips his cloak off, and he's like, gotcha, bitch. You fell for it twice. I did the same thing my mom did, and now you can't kill any of these people. Oh, by the way, that wand belongs to me. Oh, by the way, all the Horcruxes are dead. Oh, by the way, I have the Deathly Hallows. You're fucked. And it's a great sequence that in the movie is just them like ripping each other's face off as they destroy Hogwarts. And I don't know, like I appreciate the battle of wits more than I do just the ransacking destruction that we get in Deathly Hallows Part 2. Those, I don't know why they really bothered me so much, but I don't think the movies do a very good job of really explaining how clever Harry having to go through destroying the Horcruxes and collecting the Hallows and all the character development that goes along with it, and how that reflects both of his parents. That's really interesting, and none of those details are included in the films, and it upsets me.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, to your point, Christian, you know, the big battle at the end, literally the lightning streaks between wands fight between Voldemort and Harry, you know, in the movie is just because it's the chosen one versus Voldemort.
Yes.
Whereas, like the ending you're talking about, it's the payoff for Harry being treated as the chosen one his whole life, but actually like developing and learning skills.
Yes.
So it's not he didn't win because he was the chosen one. He won because he's gotten better than Voldemort.
Yes, exactly. He did everything necessary to beat this guy. It just doesn't happenstance that he beats this guy. He checked all the boxes, but that's not how the movie portrays it. And it's very irritating.
The movies are bad at portraying Harry's cleverness. It seems like almost every time they get to the spot where it's just going to be a thing where Harry's going to beat it by being clever, they're like, okay, but a better movie moment, a better special effect is if we draw this out and make it something else.
Yeah. The only other thing I want to talk about is I heard Lenny Kravitz's cover of American Woman again this weekend, and that song still fucking kicks.
Yep, no doubt.
I don't know. Lenny Kravitz feels like those things that one of those things that people as a society makes fun of, and I don't know if they do, but it just feels like they should, but they really shouldn't because he's fucking cool.
Dude, I had a very similar experience with it, which I had liked Lenny Kravitz up to this point. I really liked Mama Said. I really liked that. This ain't over till it's over song. But I remember when Are You Gonna Go My Way came out, I was just super bored by that song. Like, did not care about it. And I heard it recently, and I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. Man, that shit kicks. That is one of the coolest riffs ever.
Yeah, and I mean, that guy's boned Jason Momoa's wife. So it's not like he's in the order of dicking, he's definitely below Prince. Like, Prince is number one, but he's definitely above Jason Momoa. So even if Jason Momoa took his wife, I think Lenny Kravitz still takes the cake and Dick in there, and so I'm pro that. I like that guy.
I mean, it's bad that I don't remember her name, but I mean,
yeah, I don't either.
All
Zoe
credit
Kravitz's mom.
All credit to Zoe Kravitz's mom because she went from fucking Lenny Kravitz to Jason Momoa. She's doing something right.
She still kind of looks better than her daughter. She may be a vampire.
They look the exact same, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't even know if I should take a turn this week, guys. I talked so much about Harry Potter.
Well, do you want to share a turn with me?
Yeah, you talk about something that I would like to talk about too. How about that?
Because I know you and I are the only ones that want to talk about Rick and Morty.
Yes, let's do that. 100%.
Okay. So Rick and Morty just finished its run. It's a show that takes forever to come out. Written by Dan Harmon. Honestly, if you listen to the show, you probably know what Rick and Morty is because it's.
We are absolutely, our audience is the Rick and Morty audience as well.
I was about to say, we as human beings are like directly in the crosshairs of whatever that demographic is. And so by extension, I have to imagine our audience is also. But it's a show that's complicated, I think. I mean, the show itself is complicated, but it's complicated both by a fan base that is, I'd say, fairly toxic, and by the people who make it catering to that fan base and making the show, I don't know, just more and more and more up its own ass. And so that's why I was so pleased. This is, I think, what is it, season 4 that we just finished?
5.
To just take a step back and be like, you know what, maybe we should just play with the original premise of why this was going to be fun in the first place. And I really enjoyed that.
I 100% did too. I liked that they, at least the first maybe 7 episodes had almost zero lore in them. And there wasn't really much meta commentary, except when they would occasionally reference that they weren't doing meta commentary.
Right, 100%. I feel like Dan Harmon watched Justin Roiland's other show, Solar Opposites, and was like, oh, that looks like it'd be fun.
Right.
And I mean, if you haven't seen that show, that's actually it's not a bad show. It's I feel like this season of Rick and Morty is the split difference between Solar Opposites and the other 4 seasons of Rick and Morty.
I'm trying to think of which episodes were my favorite on this. I really liked the episode that was basically the Clive Barker riff, where they, go to Hellraiser Hell.
That's fun.
And I really liked the first episode, but I think my favorite was where Morty was dating Captain Planet Lady.
That one's a really good one. I like that one a lot too.
It's really funny, and man, the emotional shit at the end really hits.
And so there was a big fan theory coming up to this season that this season was not portraying the Rick and Morty that we've been seeing most of the series, that this was the origin story of evil Morty. Because Morty's been a little bit more intense, a little bit more quick to violence, and violence as a solution in this season than he's been in the previous seasons. And, obviously we watched the rest of the season, and that's not the case.
Right.
But I like the idea that, this Morty, the Morty that he's becoming, is just it's a natural consequence of spending enough time with Rick. The longer he's in this relationship, the more like this he's gonna get. Evil Morty, which, at the end we talk about whether or not he's evil or not, but evil Morty isn't necessarily the outlier. He's just the natural conclusion of this cycle.
Right. Well, and also, who knows if we're watching the original Rick and Morty or not now after the Decoys episode.
Oh, the Decoys episode is definitely that one splits the difference so good for me of kind of one-off adventures, but also really playing with how deep in the sci-fi shit you can get.
Right.
That's where I fell off, was the Decoys episode.
Oh, that was probably my favorite one of the season.
I just think that goes on too long. I mean, that joke goes on for that entire episode.
That's why I like it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work like the Snake episode works for me. The Snake episode, you could do 3 more of those and I would crack up every time. But about 7 minutes into the Decoy episode, I was like, surely we're not going to do this another 13 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. It did feel like it was the first 8 minutes of a Simpsons episode where it's something off the wall and then you switch to what the episode's actually about. But no, it just kept going the whole 30 minutes.
And then I also like that there was finally like just a concession from the creative team in the last 2 episodes where, you know, everyone just constantly wants to talk about Evil Morty and Rick's past. And they're like, fuck it. Here you go. Are you happy?
Right.
You know, like there's no like flowery bullshit. There's not like, you know, expand. It's just like, here's what you want. Let's fucking like, let's move past this. Let's talk about literally anything else.
Right.
And I love that. I thought it was good. So this, I'm not saying this season, I don't think all the episodes are super strong. There's definitely the giant incest baby, which I think they know is like, what the fuck were we doing here?
Yeah.
But I would rather lean that direction than the hyper meta stuff.
Me too, totally.
But aside from that, I haven't really been watching that much. The only other thing I've been watching is an anime called The Saga of Tanya the Evil, which is a kind of a twist on a familiar structure in anime, which is a regular person in our world dies, some sort of deity comes down and chooses to like save them or reincarnate them in another world, usually some form of magical Europe, in a new life with new powers or whatever. So this one's got a similar vibe, but the protagonist, the guy who gets killed at the beginning, is a borderline psychopathic like businessman who is vehemently against the concept or the notion of God or any kind of deity. So even when like time is being stopped and he's being approached by this deity, he's like, "You're not God." Like, I don't know what you are, but you're not, there's no God. You're not God. And so the basic premise of the show is the God is also kind of fucked in that the God comes up with this idea, I'm going to put you in a situation that's so bad that you're going to have to come to me. So they put him in like a war-torn alternate version of like World War I Germany as like an orphan child and whatever. And just out of pure spite, the protagonist like raises through the ranks and becomes like an important military figure. Anyway, it's just a very strange combination of like, one, we're rooting for the bad guys. Our main guy is a bad guy, but I love the interplay between like the whole show, the whole premise of the show on both sides is purely driven out of spite. The only reason anyone does anything is just to prove that the other person is going to be wrong. And it's pretty fun. I don't know. It's I think it's better than Transformers. I think it's on Crunchyroll. I recommend it.
Right on.
Very cool.
But that's it for this week. Something's coming out next week. What's happening next week?
Well, hey, just to be clear, you guys haven't escaped my Santa Barbara book report.
And I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want to either.
I just took a week off because I talked so much about Harry Potter, and that was going to be a long haul.
Well, we had something planned for oh no, it was Rick and Morty. That's what we're going to do this week. So yeah, who knows what we're going to do next week? Next week, something. We'll figure it out. Right in the meantime, thank you guys for listening. Please rate, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast. If you have any episode ideas, things you'd like us to talk about, you can reach to realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies and on Instagram, real_phonies. Just to be clear, we had an episode on Lamageddon just like 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's not hard to get us to do something. We are your dancing monkeys to do with as you please. Thanks to Zach Evans for our art and Brian Velasquez for our theme, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later.